Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another episode of the Last Fan Standing Wrestling Podcast. This is episode number 24, and this one is going to be a real important one. We are talking pretty much nothing but indie wrestling on this episode, maybe in honor of the, no pun intended, Ring of Honor's first pay-per-view is tomorrow.
That's going to be
best
exciting.
in the world. Yeah, exactly. So their first pay-per-view is tomorrow. But important, the really important thing about this, Twin City Wrestling, we are only a week away today. We're about a week and 3 hours away from the doors actually being open to this excellent show that's going to be coming up at the Halifax Forum. We're going to be talking a ton of that show today.
I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, it is going to be friggin' fantastic. So we're going to be talking a whole bunch of indie wrestling today. We're going to be going match by match through that card, what has been announced so far anyways, and a little bit of special info that I got last night from the boss himself.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun. It's going to be great. All right, so before we get into the real important stuff, I have to share a story. It's a story, and I got to get real comfy in my chair when I do it too. It's a story of censorship, the internet, and independent wrestling, and when those things kind of come together and get smashed up, you have what happened to me the other day. So this whole story centers around an independent wrestling company in Nova Scotia that is not Twin City Wrestling. It's the other one. And get used to hearing that, because that's pretty much the way that I'm going to refer to them, is the other ones. So it was about the other company and a post that they made on their Facebook page, which, you know what, you have a Facebook page, you might as well use it. So it was a post that they made on their Facebook page, and I, in my infinite wisdom, just decided that I'd reply to it. It was a post that was basically asking for transparency. It was asking for honesty. So I decided, you know, why not? I'll throw them a bone and I'll give them some honesty.
Right.
And you know what? I can be an internet jackass sometimes. Like we all can, but like our generation has a lot of practice at that, because we were the first internet assholes. Like our generation were the first dicks on the internet. Now everybody seems to think that they're amazing at it, but we were the originators. We were 80s NWA. They're just they're the PG era. We were still the guys.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But so this thing happened just the other day. And again, it's the other major wrestling company that's in Nova Scotia, who, again, not going to name by name. But basically, this is how it went. Poor Nick has been has had a day to remember today. He's been up since
it's not really to remember. It's just a lot's been on the go.
Yeah.
Privateer days is on down in Liverpool.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Fair enough.
We had a fireman's breakfast in the morning and pumper training after that.
So Nick's been on the go since, when did you say this morning? Like
5:30.
Ugh.
I didn't want to get out of bed. My alarm clock woke me up. I fell back asleep. And then the pager went off. And when the pager goes off, you can't ignore it.
No, it's true. Fair enough. All right, so here's what happened. So that other company makes a Facebook post on their page. I think it was the 15th of June. Their post reads simply this: our philosophy is we will not tell you we provide the best wrestling entertainment in Nova Scotia. You tell us whether or not we have the best wrestling entertainment in Nova Scotia. And I thought, okay, that's actually a really good sentiment. That's actually quite nice. That's asking for transparency from your fans.
Yeah.
That's great. At the same time, it's a little bit of a jab at TCW, because TCW makes it a point of, we are the best and we don't mind telling you. So at the same time, it's a bit of a jab at TCW.
A little bit.
But I was like, whatever, that's all fair. That's all fair and foul. So I decided that I was going to give them my opinion.
Of course.
Why not? It's the internet.
Yeah.
And they fucking asked for it. They asked for
True.
opinion. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give you my opinion then. So I replied to this status twice. There were 2 posts, one like just sort of back to back. Here's post number 1, and I want to read this verbatim because I actually want people to know exactly what it is that I said.
Feel
just
free.
So there's no ambiguity to it.
Sit down, people. It's story time with Justin.
It's fucking story time, exactly. So, post number 1. As this ultimately comes down to chocolate versus vanilla, which one really is better, which, by the way, chocolate, I'll chime in and say that I don't think your company has the best wrestling entertainment in Nova Scotia. On a show-by-show basis, my choice has been and continues to be Twin City Wrestling. And the folks at TCW have backed that up every single show with top-level, homegrown, true independent talent. That's just one person's opinion, of course, as it always will be, and the door is always open to change this one person's mind. It would take a lot, mind you, but never say never. So right there, I was going to stop right there and comment on the thing that I just said. My choice is Twin City Wrestling, obviously. Yeah. But that's not to say that as an objective wrestling fan, I couldn't be like, you know what, I do think has a better product. Yeah. Oh, I said their name. Oh, we'll bleep that out. That at some point I could say, those guys have maybe they do have a better product at some point. But that's, that would be way down the road. And again, I don't think that's going to happen. That being said, this is going back to my post. That being said, I will concede that I've been very impressed with the talent that you've opted to bring in to the fans of professional wrestling in Nova Scotia. It's a great time to still be a fan. Your champion, JP Sims, is a top talent in this part of the country, and working with guys like AJ Styles and Petey Williams only makes him better. Christopher Daniels is another great talent, and who doesn't love to see Colt Cabana? Your company can keep making a name for itself by developing a lasting legacy of kick-ass matches, smart booking, and bringing in the best talent it can bring in. If you do that on a really consistent basis, the promotion can go nowhere but up. I look forward to seeing what your company has to offer in the coming months. So that was the end of my first post. Mm-hmm. I think that actually did a really good job of putting those guys over.
Yeah, it's not to say that you bash them.
No.
Because you did not.
No, I was just like, it's really cool that you brought these guys in. Mm. And your champion is one of the top guys in this part of the country.
Yeah.
And the way that you can establish actually making a claim to being the best is by having a legacy of really good matches.
Yeah.
And booking your company properly. And it's like, if you can do that, then you've got nowhere to go but up.
Right.
But again, saying you're not my choice, but you're still good. Like you're still, I have no animosity towards you just because you're not my choice. Hmm. So that was the first post.
Okay.
Here's post number 2. This is a shorter one. Don't worry. At the end of the day, what matters was, and always will be the fans, the reactions, and the lasting impressions. In tandem, these two companies are doing a great job of making it cool to be a wrestling fan again. Something that the big promotions have been doing their best to kill for better than a decade. Because, let's face it, WWE and TNA, sometimes it's hard to be a fan.
It's really true.
Like, sometimes it's fucking tough. And giving the fans of Nova Scotia some amazing opportunities to see great wrestling with great wrestlers, to make wrestling relevant. I may prefer one over the other, but in my heart of hearts, I love the fact that there are two strong, interesting, relevant companies in Nova Scotia who are only getting better. Keep it up. I think that does a pretty good job of putting those guys over.
Yeah.
It's coming from somebody that's not a fan. So I was relatively proud of it, and I left it alone. I was like, they asked for an opinion, and I gave one. And it wasn't even a negative one. Mm. Within an hour, post number 1 was deleted.
Really?
Yeah. Within the same hour, post number 1 was gone. The reason post number 1 was gone was because I directly mentioned another company.
Wow.
That's it. That's the only reason that I can think of. Because, like, yeah, I say kick-ass, so I guess I technically swear. I've seen other people say worse than that on their page. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it could be that. It was just the fact that I directly mentioned another company. So it was so petty, right? Like, it was just so petty to be like, oh, look, you mentioned another company, gone. You know what Twin City Wrestling did today on their Facebook page?
What's that?
They shared a picture from the Maritime Wrestling Fans Facebook page or whatever that actually has the other company's poster.
Oh, really?
For their show.
Nice.
And yet TCW shared it on their Facebook page. And these jerk-offs can't fucking go 10 minutes without deleting a comment that just happens to make mention of another company.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's stupid. There's nothing that pisses me off more than stupid censorship. Some censorship, I understand. You got to protect kids from fucking porn and horrible language. That's why we mention right off the bat that our podcast is NSFW. You know, I think the only kid that listens to our podcast is probably Rodney's kid, whenever Rodney is on.
Yeah.
Because he always starts with, don't remember any of these words. So, I mean, it makes sense. Like, we're not a kid's show. We don't advertise ourselves as a kid's show. So some censorship in that sense is necessary, but like something like that is just petty and stupid.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all.
And I guess given who you're dealing with the two yahoos that run that other company, I guess it kind of makes sense with their whole... We have a little bit of history with those folks. So, you know, I guess it makes sense. So, I mean, like, look, to those gentlemen and to the individuals who run the Facebook page, I think your product is just fine. I don't think it's the best. And I think you're a little bit of a couple of jack-offs if that's your policy on how you patrol your Facebook page, but your product itself is perfectly fine. So there, I'm not putting you over anymore. I've put you over literally like 3 times, so I'm not putting you over anymore. Interesting postscript to this. We had, when I posted this on my personal Facebook, because I'm like, I want to put it somewhere where it's not going to get deleted by little hands and little minds. So I put it on mine. We got an interesting comment from a former worker from that company.
I read that.
Yes. And I'm not going to mention him by name either. Not that people don't know at this point, but at the same time, I don't want there to be I'm not doing this to perpetuate heat. I'm just doing this to say, like, these guys are jerk-offs. But yeah, so an interesting comment saying they censor everything, even the comments of their own workers, even going as far as trying to tell them to remove their own Facebook statuses. Then, of course, he puts in brackets, ha ha ha, good luck on that one. and just finishes it off with one of many reasons I bounced, which, you know what, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna be pricks, then people aren't gonna work for you.
I mean, why censor?
Why censor someone's opinion when you ask for it?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if I called you up on the phone and was like, hey, Nick, I'm going to interview you over the phone, and like I'm recording the interview or whatever, and I say, so what do you really think of me? And you go, I think you're an abominable prick. And I take that out of the interview after asking you what your opinion is, that's me being a douchebag. So to me, this is the exact same thing. You ask someone for their opinion, and then you can't handle it when they give it to you. So that's why I'm glad that we're fans of a company that doesn't do that. Like somebody posted on the Twin City Wrestling Facebook page there the other day with a concern about one of the guys that's going to be on this show on the 28th, Cody Hall. Like, I heard a report that people say he's dangerous and he's green in the ring and da 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 da.
Oh, really?
So I actually looked up the report, and it was the same report, just, you know, reported from a bunch of different sources, but it was the same kind of core thing.
Okay.
And then I went and I watched a bunch of matches of his or whatever. I don't agree with this one promoter who said that he's green and dangerous. He just had a bad experience. But so I didn't agree with it. But like, Twin City Wrestling's Facebook page didn't go and delete that immediately. I'm sure this other company probably would have, but Twin City Wrestling didn't. Like, they addressed it. They were just like, we've heard the same report. Thanks for bringing it up to us. You know, practice makes perfect, but we're comfortable with the talent that we booked. So they actually addressed it, which is nice.
Absolutely.
Like,
it's nice to actually have like communication rather than like, oh, they spoke negatively
delete,
about
ban,
something. Yeah.
band hammer. Like it's not that tough to act like normal human beings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so anyways, that was my story. I had to get that off my chest, and now it's off my chest, and now we can talk about some more interesting stuff. Like this kick-ass fucking show that's coming up.
Oh my God.
Nick, tell the people for a few minutes or a minute while I take a drink how hyped you are for this show.
I am, like, as soon as I get off work on Friday, it's total nonstop. It's
Action?
Oh
TNA
God.
wrestling? That's what TNA stands for, total nonstop action. That's why I threw in action.
Well,
Gross.
kind of,
but much better.
It's my version of TNA action. Yeah, I can't wait.
Excellent.
Like, I believe they're going to have everything set up on Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's great, actually.
Well, kind of. I mean,
okay. Well, I guess it does make it a little bit, because then you have to go in with everything already set up and kind of go. Remember,
know where things are, type of thing.
Exactly.
I like to set things up the way that I want them set up.
Right. Exactly.
But you know what? If I can't, then it's okay.
Yeah.
But
not the end of the world.
Still, but
still kind of yeah. Fair enough. For anybody that doesn't remember, Nick does the audio and some video stuff for TCW for their live shows. So it is nice to go in and be like, okay, I've set everything up. I know that everything works. I know where everything is where I need it to be, and I know how everything's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
If it goes in, it gets set up beforehand. You just you're plopped into it, and you go, okay, now I got to figure all this stuff out. But we are hyped.
Oh,
we are pumped for this
Goosebumps.
show. Yeah, the show is going to be really, really good. So let's talk a little bit about it. Let's talk a little bit about, well, first of all, if you happen to be listening to this show and you're in Nova Scotia, why not come out to the show? So let's give them some show information, some ticket information, all this good stuff, because we want you live in the crowd for Twin City Wrestling's Evolution of Championship Wrestling coming up next week. So in just 1 second, I'm going to grab this ticket info for you, and I'm going to let you know how you can be in the crowd. Nick, entertain the people for a moment.
I'm being entertaining, and I'm saying words.
Totally.
That form sentences and paragraphs, and you're like, hey, how's he doing that? And I'm just like, magic.
Sexy words. See, now that you're done being entertained by Nick thoroughly, good job, sir.
You're welcome.
It wasn't last week's live pissing, but it was pretty good.
I still got that to go.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Twin City Wrestling presents the Evolution of Championship Wrestling. Again, this is next Saturday. This is June the 28th in the Halifax Forum Multipurpose Center in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The doors open at 7 o'clock. Your bell time is at 8. So you got an hour to get in there, especially if you have your advance tickets. We're going to tell you how to get your advance tickets. But if you've got advance tickets, get there as early as you can. Get in there, soak this in, talk to us, because we're going to be there.
We're going to be there.
So, we're going to be there, and it's, it's going to be fantastic. It really is.
If you see me running around saying, and then... it's a bad time.
If you at some point just hear from the distance Nick yell, and then, if you happen to hear that, there's probably going to be a problem. There's probably some problems that we're trying to get worked out. We may or may not have to drive back to Bridgewater to get something.
No.
Nick looks at me. No, fuck no.
I'm taking like half of this friggin' gear with me, just
absolutely.
in case.
Just in case. But the show's going to be phenomenal. Again, next Saturday, June 28th, Halifax Forum. Doors open at 7 o'clock. There's also a meet and greet. The meet and greet, which actually the details of that just got announced. It's in the Forum Multipurpose Center from 4 to 6.
Yes.
So it's 2 hours, and then it's an hour before doors open for the actual show. So you will, if you do go to the meet and greet, you will, of course, unfortunately have to leave and then come back in. But it's not a huge inconvenience, I don't think. The meet and greet featuring our two major headliners, which we will talk about here in just a second. So the meet and greet again is from 4 to 6 at the Forum Multipurpose Center. This is free of charge if you have advanced ringside tickets.
Yeah.
So the advanced ringside tickets are $35. Again, it's ringside ticket to the show. Your meet and greet is free. It's an excellent value. Very, very good deal. If you have the advanced, just kind of general admission tickets like I do, like Cody does, like we've got all this set up. So if you only have the general admission tickets, the meet and greet is $15. But still, you get to meet two guys who have either been to the big shows or are on their way up to the big shows. $15. Some people may call it an inconvenience. I don't. I think it's still great value to get to meet these guys, snap a picture with them, get an autograph. I think it's a good value. So $15 if you've got advanced general admission. That's if you're not just gonna I'm just gonna show up to the door at 7:30 and buy my tickets for the show. You got to have advanced tickets in order to get there. Or if you don't have any tickets at all and you just want to go to the meet and greet, then the meet and greet's $10. Okay. So, either way, there's options for you no matter what your kind of situation is. It's just the headliners aren't going to get in a car and drive down and come to your house. That's basically the only That's basically the only thing you're not going to be able to do with this meet and greet. As far as tickets go, tickets and prices, here's how it breaks down. If you want advanced tickets, like I have, like Cody Nodding from TCW Smart Mark Alley, he's got his advanced tickets. If you want advanced tickets to the show to be able to kind of get to the meet and greet, anything like that, your advanced ticket is $20. You can get that by sending a message to the Facebook page.
Yep.
Either the Twin City Wrestling Facebook page or Cyril Richards if you happen to have him on Facebook. You can also get them through Ticket Pro, but be aware that if you order them through Ticket Pro, there's a service charge. That's not a TCW thing, that's a Ticket Pro thing. They charge a service charge of, I think it's like $4 or something. So if you want to avoid the service charge, send them a message on Facebook and get the advanced tickets. Because that's just the best way to do it. If you don't have advanced tickets, if you're just kind of walking right up to the door, which I expect we're going to get some walk-ups, it's $25 at the door.
Which is not bad.
Which really is not bad because you figure you're going to get probably a 3-hour show out of this. So, especially with this match card, which we're going to go up and down, like you should. $25 at the door, or again, $35 for the advanced ringside. Guarantees a ringside seat. Guarantees you a spot at the meet and greet. That's your full service. If you want to get in with the meet and greet, meet the headliners, which we're going to talk about here in a second, that's the best way to do it. $35 for the ringsides, $25 at the door, $20 in advance through Facebook or Ticket Pro. Does everybody have that? Everybody clear?
Check.
Because we'll probably repeat it for you again at the end of the show. Now let's talk about our headliners.
Okay.
The two major headliners that we have, the two major in-ring headliners, because there are a couple of other headliners, some guests that are coming to the show. Like, I don't know if he's an official guest, but I know that Glenn Matthews, the filmmaker, Glenn Matthews is going to be at the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I know that Jay Brew, who's a local hip-hop artist in Halifax, is going to be at the show.
Yeah.
I guess somebody that was on, I think it was somebody that was on Canadian Idol, is going to be at the show as well.
Really?
I guess that's what the boss, one of the little tidbits that the boss told me last night, that somebody from Canadian Idol is apparently either just, I don't know if they're doing anything official at the show, but I think they're just going to be at the show.
Okay. I'm hoping it isn't like the buddy that was like third eliminated that
yeah,
like UCW brought in.
Oh,
that
yeah.
one time.
The
Remember
guy
that
from,
buddy? He was just like, he wasn't even like
the guy from like Jersey
to,
Shore.
like,
not Jersey Shore, but Big Brother. Big Brother Canada.
Big Brother, yeah.
He
was like the first one of the first two eliminated.
Yeah, it's true. It's like,
and it just brought him in. And just
we got the guy that
you?
finished in 9th place on Big Brother Canada. Ooh, fucking score.
Yeah.
No, I think it's somebody that actually went a little ways in the competition. So it's somebody that somebody might actually know.
That's exciting.
Which would be nice. That's nice. But let's talk about the actual in-ring headliners here. We're going to start with the lesser known of the two of them, I would say. We're looking at Cody Hall. Now, Cody Hall, if that last name is familiar to wrestling fans, it should be. Cody Hall, the son of the bad guy, the son of Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. He's only been in the business for a couple of years. He's got a good training pedigree under him. He was trained by Larry Zbyszko. Zbyszko's a legend in the business. This kid is huge. I didn't think this guy was this big. I say kid, he's 23. But, I did not think I didn't think he was as big as he is. He's 6'8". I didn't think he was that tall. I don't know. I can't remember if I'd seen like pictures or something. The pictures don't make him look that tall. But the dude is 6'8", and he's only 250. He's kind of got that like Undertaker, that prime Undertaker kind of body type, right?
Yeah.
Like he's a big guy. I think you'd have to probably consider him a giant, quote unquote, in the business at 6'8". But he's only 250, so he's lean. Like the Undertaker. Undertaker was always big, and he was always 300 pounds, but you could never tell because he was lean, right? And that's kind of the same way as Cody Hall. 6'8", 250, 23 years old from Atlanta, Georgia. The kid is extremely talented. I watched 5 or 6 of his matches on YouTube just today, just to kind of gauge how he moves in the ring and everything like that. Takes a lot of his moveset from his dad. Like he does like Razor's fall-away slam and like some of his mannerisms and stuff. He's a little Randy Orton-ish too. Like he's not really in his moveset, but like in the way that he kind of comes to the ring. Like he does Scott Hall's little like thumb thrusting into his chest or whatever, but then like he throws his arms up at the end of it, whereas Hall was like straight across.
Yeah,
but he throws his arms up at the end.
Does the SpaghettiOs
kind of, yeah. But he kind of looks like Randy Orton when he throws his hands up, right? So it was an interesting mesh between a couple of different talent there, and something that I found really interesting about Cody Hall, he may well be undefeated.
Really?
I haven't seen him lose a match. Every match that I've watched him be in, he's won. And it actually says on his Wikipedia page that he is undefeated. Now, I don't know. Anybody can edit. I could have gone on and edited that. So I don't know if it's legitimate. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to treat him like he's undefeated. The guy that's going to be lining up against Cody Hall, which we'll talk about in just a minute when we start going match by match, is one of the top talents in TCW and is going to have his work cut out for him to kind of top Cody Hall, who, again, moves extremely well for a big guy. He's really athletic, shows a really good like amateur wrestling background, and like I say, he's got a lot of his mannerisms remind me of his dad, obviously, and of course that finisher, that outsider's edge, it looks really good. As far as I'm concerned, the reports about him being like the reports of him being green and dangerous in the ring, I don't think they're legit. Every match I've watched, he looks great. He looks really, really good, and he looks like he's getting better.
Just somebody trying to spurt shit.
Well, and it's that, and it's somebody that, like I said, like we say, a promoter that had a bad experience, and one report gets out, it gets reported by 20 different things. All of a sudden, you think there's 20 different people reporting that he's dangerous and green, and it's like, well, it's not the case.
But no, it's just one.
Just the one. I did my research on this, folks. So that's Cody Hall.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Here's the big one.
Okay.
Here's the big one. 5 foot 10 inches tall. 205 pounds, 32 years old, from Detroit, Michigan. Motor City, baby. A former TNA World Champion. A former record-holding 8-time TNA X Division Champion. Chris Sabin. Hail Sabin, baby.
Hail Sabin.
Hail Sabin.
I'm going to get goosebumps when I hit the friggin' play button.
Oh, it's going to be great.
And I just hear it.
It's going to be great. I mean, like, we shouldn't characterize it like, oh my God, Chris Sabin's the greatest wrestler of all time. But you know what? For a period there, Sabin was one of the top talents in the world. And what I love about him so much is he established himself as one of the top talents in the world as part of a tag team. Like him and Alex Shelley as the Motor City Machine Guns in TNA. Every time he showed up on like the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Top 100 or anything, it was while he was part of a tag team. Yeah. And that's what makes it so remarkable to me, because guys that are primarily tag team wrestlers usually don't get to that spot. You know what I mean? Like they usually don't get to be so highly regarded as being part of a tag team because it's about being a team and everything like that. But as an individual competitor, he got in the PWI Top 100 for 5 straight years, and he's been there 7 times overall, being as high as number 28 in 2007.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a top 30 wrestler in the world. I mean, PWI doesn't just look at WWE and TNA. PWI is worldwide. So, I mean, like, to be a top 30 worldwide talent at any point by PWI, who's basically the authority on these things, that, to me, that's huge. And I'm extremely, extremely excited.
I am too. He's actually one of the 4 things that I'm most excited about.
Oh, you got 4. Oh, you got 4 that you're
things.
really.
Oh yeah, Chris Sabin,
Right.
Leah Von Dutch,
Right. Absolutely.
the new ring.
Yes,
the new ring.
The new ring is worth mentioning.
I can't wait to see how it's going to be.
Exactly. Twin City Wrestling action is so intense that we destroyed our last ring. The ring couldn't hold it.
It couldn't hold it.
Just like the ceiling can't hold us.
Yeah.
The ring could not hold Twin City Wrestling.
And it's the first show of 2014.
Yes, it is the first show of 2014 for Twin City Wrestling. It took them a little while to get here, but you know what? They got here, and now they're going to deliver like a motherfucker. This is going to be a truly, truly phenomenal show. Just to mention, too, before we get into actually talking about the matches, the June 28th show, obviously the show that comes up next week, will be announcing and previewing the 3 guests for the next show. We'll be announcing all 3 of them. I tried and I could not pry it out of the boss's fingers on Facebook. I couldn't do it. I tried real hard. I couldn't do it. Let's get into talking about these matches.
Okay.